He's on the worst beach too. It's fucking.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, Greg, how's it going?
Oh, it's going. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the What a Disaster podcast.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You know what we do?
What do we do?
We watch, review, and discuss a disaster movie as close to weekly as we can possibly stand. I'm Gregory Allen. You know me. As usual, I'm joined by Richard Sawasinski.
You remember? I'm Richard.
Mm-hmm. And then you've never met this one, but this is
Lizbert.
Lizbert.
Hello, Lizbert.
Brian, you have eaten the most meticulously made tacos known to man. How were they?
They were better because I was here at Greg's, so you guys elevated the flavor, the texture, the smell, the temperature in every way.
Everything tastes better at my house.
Brian waited longer for tacos than I wait for amusement park.
He was seriously he was messaging us. He was like, "I'm going to be late, guys," and then he missed the exit to get here and was like, "I'm going to go to Taco Bell in Ohio because he's brain dead." And he got there and saw that the line was wrapped around the building and was like, "This is going to be fast because the line's around the building."
It was like one of those buildings that, like one of those lines where it's like you're basically imprisoned once you get about 3 cars in.
I was actually worried a Jurassic Park sequel, another one would come out while I was sitting there waiting.
I'm concerned that another one will ever come out. I bet the CEO of Taco Bell is listening to this right now. So if you're listening, CEO of Taco Bell, you got to figure out what's going on at that place, man. That was rough.
I'm sure he will. I bet you he's your biggest fan.
He's probably listens to every episode.
The chief enchilada officer.
Is that what CEO stands for at Taco Bell?
It would be great if it did.
It would. Well, I think we should get into the meat of it here because this week's episode is dedicated to Lost World, Jurassic Park. This one had a budget of $73 million, or roughly $73 million is the assumption.
Spent.
Every penny was well spent.
Oh, my God.
This one's got the... directed by Steven Spielberg.
Not only was it directed by Steven Spielberg, he wanted this fucking movie. He was fighting to direct this movie.
Did he read the script before he said he wanted it?
He had so much fun with the first movie, he wanted the second one. And the other guy, I didn't write him down, but the guy who directed Jurassic Park 3, he was going to do this one, but he had a scheduling conflict.
Who was the writer for the first Jurassic Park? Can somebody whip that out for me real quick?
Michael Crichton.
No, the screenplay.
Cope, same guy.
Same guy wrote that screenplay?
Or Kep, it's pronounced.
Man, that is a step down.
Yep, huge step down. And actually, it was funny because watching this movie, going into it, it'd been so many years since I've seen it. I watched it yesterday just to get caught up. I had not expected it to be directed by Steven Spielberg. My memory is like, oh no, it was made by somebody else. It was completely made by, like, my memory inserted something different.
I was blending it with Jurassic Park 3 for sure.
Yeah, I was definitely wanting it to be by someone else. When the first thing that comes up is directed by Spielberg, I'm like, no, it's not.
Want to know an interesting fact about that? Only the second sequel he has ever directed, as of 2016.
Yeah, he's got this and then Titanic 2, Jack's Back, right?
Yeah, Jack's Back. Indiana Jones. He made 3 of those, right?
But he did not consider Indiana Jones.
Did he direct all 3 of those?
He did at least 2 of them.
He did not consider it a sequel, though, because it was an adventure epic. So, in reality, he's like nothing carried over but Indiana Jones himself. So he's like, it wasn't a true sequel, and he's kind of right about that. So this was like his first true sequel, carrying right over from the story we left off.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, so this one has got the Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm. He's back. He's making his triumphant return as world-renowned chaotician who has since been discredited because he told everybody he saw a bunch of dinosaurs and the whole world told him he's crazy and a liar.
Yeah. Right, yeah, and on that point, not to get stuck on this, but I feel like this was a different character than what was in the first movie. And I know that he was like a broken man by this point, right?
Oh, yeah.
And all of his credibility had been taken away. He lost his tenure or whatever it was that was important to him. But I feel like the way that Dan Kep wrote him, that it's a completely different character. I feel like a lot of the magic was lost, and I also feel like that even though there was changes in his life, that the core spirit of who he would have carried through. And this is kind of what happens when you have somebody that's in a movie for like comedic input and to be the guy who's spread out and being sexy on the bench with his broken leg or back or whatever it was, and then they make him a main character. They just he didn't come off the same, because now he's a main character instead of a comedic insert.
There's a lot of story that happened between the first Jurassic Park and Lost World that they don't really touch on. Just he's got a kid that got dumped in his lap from his ex. We knew he had kids from the first one.
Yeah, one of many.
And Julianne Moore is his girlfriend. So he has both settled down and he's been saddled with this kid. And he's definitely toned down. He's dialed it back. He went from being turned up to 11 to closer to like a 4 somehow.
Absolutely, I agree. And he was a chaotician. Not to get stuck on this, just in right here at the cast, but he was a chaotician, and now he's just a guy. And to me, that was even looking back, I wanted to see that character again in this movie. And he's just a different character. There's reasons for it, but going into it with expectations, it's hurtful.
Yeah. So this one, they cost what? $73 million had for the estimated budget. I was covering that, right?
Yeah.
The original Jurassic Park was about $63 million. That was, 5 years earlier, and I think adjusted for inflation for that year, it would have been about $70 million.
Right.
Opening weekend made $90 million. So.
Oh, yeah. That was riding on that Jurassic Park buzz.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Getting that money back.
USA, it made $229 million, so that ain't bad. Worldwide made damn near $620 million.
Yeah. That's a lot closer to $1 billion than
Rotten Tomatoes loved it. It's got a whopping 53% on the tomatometer.
I've seen worse.
Tomato meter? Tomatometer?
Tomatometer.
Tomatometer.
Tomatometer?
You say tomato meter, I say tomadometer.
Tomadometer.
It's okay.
It's pronounced
potato.
baking flour.
Baking flour.
Yes.
Sure, yeah. We're going to jump into our first break of the sesh. We're going to try not to digress. We got it all out of our system early.
Yeah.
And we will catch you on the flip side.
Flip side?
Sarah! 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 Sarah Harding!
How many Sarahs do you think are on this island?
Sarah! Sit!
Something big.
And we're back.
That was amazing. Was that Macho Man?
It's football is.
That's football is. So this movie is rated the PG-13 for intense sci-fi violence.
It said intense sci-fi and violence.
Did it say and violence? I thought it said intense sci-fi. Oh, it was intense sci-fi horror or something.
Yeah.
There was something about it, but yeah.
If this was rated today, do you guys think it would have got the PG-13, or do you think what do you think it would have gotten?
Probably PG.
Yeah, there was nothing. There's no gore really. One guy got etten.
Yeah, that was the
a
worst.
couple people get ripped in half.
But
That's true.
I mean, it wasn't anything super graphic.
You ever see Up? That's rated G. It's one of the most graphic movies I've ever seen.
Starts off rough, man.
It starts
my
off
God.
real rough.
I'm gonna get emotional.
Okay, has
thinking about
anyone else here seen Coco? Because that one is.
Coco's Coco's
We
not
talked
as rough
about
as
that.
Up.
Are you kidding?
Coco can get your tears moving, but that
The whole
Up,
time.
that Up thing. But in Coco though, you see that they're dead, but they still are living their lives,
Until they're
or
not.
their afterlives or whatever, until they're forgotten. But if you're forgotten, who cares? You're
I only
done.
get one life if I'm lucky. Jeez, they got like
Right.
two,
They get, and
three,
their second
4.
one could go for decades.
Think about like George
My
Washington.
first one's only going to go for one more decade. That's all I've got in me. So the opening, we get a little treat, don't we?
We do.
The doctor from Ravager
The Dr. Ravager shows up.
That's right.
plays Rich Dad.
I was so excited. I couldn't help myself.
I was like, where do I know that guy? Oh
like-
my God, Ravager. So we got to tweet at him now if he still exists. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I actually got excited during this moment because it's the only Jurassic Park movie that also is a scene from Final Fantasy VII. So here we are on the beach with the Doctor, and his feet are up, and things begin to happen. The plot begins to unfold.
He's on the worst beach too. It's fucking... God, I like don't know where to go in this game. I'm just wandering the fuck around. Where do I go?
Well, you gotta finish watching the opening cinematic, and then they pretty much direct you to the first place to go there, Cloud Strife. Let's do this thing.
It's on rails from there, baby.
Yes, sir.
I love that this movie's so good that since we started talking about it, we've
haven't
already
talked about
talked
it.
about Up, we've talked about Coco, we've talked about Final
It's
Fantasy
inspiring.
VII. Anything that's related to the movie is better than the
It's
actual
inspiring.
movie.
No, the movie inspires us to have creative
Ravager.
conversations.
The important thing
Yeah,
is
Ravager.
that this family, being very rich, taking a trip on their boat, decided to chill out on this island.
Covered in rocks. The worst fucking beach on the
It
planet.
doesn't matter they're rich, they do what they want, but
Yeah.
it's a catalyst for discovery.
Yeah.
So, due to the nature of this movie, how do you guys feel about this scene when compared to the original opening scene, right? So, they have things in common. They both open up with tragedy. So, Jurassic Park opens up, of course, with the infamous raptor scene, which was awesome. And then this scene opens up on the beach with a family. Just comparing the two, before we get into the details about this scene, how do you feel about them? Because everyone walked into this movie, everyone, when it came out, comparing. So, thinking about that now, how do you guys feel about it?
This one wasn't a true tragedy because the little kid didn't die. She just got kind of, snacked on a little bit.
Yeah, eaten up.
She's alive, though.
Yeah, she lived.
Yeah, it's not nearly as tragic. It's not nearly as intense. It's
Weak in tone. It's kind of humorous in tone.
It's a lot of as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned.
The other one was dark. You didn't see the dinosaur. It was an implied attack. And I get we already seen the dinosaurs. You can't reveal them again.
And
in
that
this
happens
movie,
a
but
lot in this movie where there was much more suspense in the first Jurassic Park, both in what they were revealing and when they were in these tense moments.
This is emotional foreshadowing to how little you're going to give a fuck as this movie goes on.
If something happened or she was related to any of the characters in some way that would motivate the story other than just they're rich people that found dinosaurs, I'd care a little more.
Or if the dinosaurs awaken her latent abilities to fight dinosaurs.
Or she could talk to dinosaurs and train raptors to behave.
Oh my God.
That would be
The best
and she
movie.
could befriend one named Blue,
And then she grows
Oh.
up to be Chris
and
Pratt.
she grows up to be Chris Pratt.
Perfect. Done deal.
I would like to say, for the record, that every time I say his name, I'm not saying Chris Pratt. I'm saying Crisp Rat.
Oh, I thought you were saying Chris Pratt, like B-R-A-T.
Nope, Crisp Rat.
Okay, Chris Pratt.
Chris
I
Pratt.
like it.
It's better than soggy rat.
I'm in.
I've never had either kind.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd try them.
It's because you don't get hungry like I do.
I know that Greg usually points out the hilarious things that he reads in your notes, but I love the notes on this. During a day that looks too cold for hanging out at the ocean, and then they're obviously very rich, and the daughter feeds some baby dinosaurs with her body bits. That is the best description
I'm not
ever
gonna
for
lie,
an
I didn't
opening of
read
this
that
movie.
opening paragraph. As soon as
Oh,
I
and
saw
the-
Too Cold to Be at the Ocean, I was like, Richard, you need to stop judging these rich people. They're living their life. Why are you trying to take that from them?
Yeah, but then there's that great transition where the mother's scream transitions into Jeff Goldblum's yawn.
That
He
is
was screaming,
he was yawning,
yawning.
which was the fucking weakest fake yawn I've ever seen in my life.
It was. Very few fake yawns or yawns won't make me yawn. Like, I'll always yawn if somebody's yawning, and it did not make me yawn. Even talking about yawning makes me yawn. Look, you're doing it to me now, and I'm going to have to stop talking to yawn.
It's cross species contagious too.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ian Malcolm. He's back.
Oh yeah. Solid performance last week on Jurassic Park, which is basically all he did.
Pretty much. Yeah, so he goes to Hammond's house. He was summoned by Mr. Hammond. Goes to his house, and Hammond tells him, so you saw Jurassic Park, which was supposed to be, the Disney World of dinosaur attractions.
Right.
We actually have a research island that has a bunch of stuff on it, and we kind of want to send some people there to observe and report. He's like, I got a team. I got this guy, gives him the name. I got this guy, gives him the name. Oh, and a paleontologist or whatever.
And he holds it back, right? So
Does
coming
not
off
say
of
the name.
coming off of Jurassic Park, you're already thinking that it's the woman from the first one. You're thinking, oh, it's the woman from the
She
first
was
one.
a paleobotanist.
Well, whatever.
Get over yourself.
Everyone in that
Yeah.
theater was thinking
If you're
that it was
not
her.
even going to watch these movies, we don't need you.
I'll try to catch up after the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But back it up for a
We'll punch
second
him
though.
in.
Remember when he walked into the mansion, right? He gets
No.
there's a cameo for the kids.
What was he
The
wearing?
kids show up.
Yeah, the kids show up.
There were
What do you
one-
mean?
there-
What was he wearing? He was wearing a black leather jacket, a stupid shirt, and stupid pants.
The kids, I was like, great, they
And
got taller.
stubble.
Moving
yeah.
on.
Yeah, there's Timmy and what's the girl's name?
Lexi.
Yeah, Timmy and Lexi, right? And the guy who plays Timmy says that now it was Steven Spielberg's gift to him because that scene paid for his college tuition.
Oh, nice.
So he was on set for 2 hours, and they paid him enough to pay for his college. So he showed up and kind of hung out, and boom.
I'd like
big check.
I
to
was wondering
say
about
that
that.
I'm in the wrong career,
Yeah.
and maybe I just need to do shitty Steven Spielberg movies.
You just need to
what
be
a
a child
joke of a
actor.
director that guy is.
So basically, you're saying you just need to be a child actor. It's not too late to start, Greg.
Steven Spielberg, if you're listening, I am so sorry. That was a joke.
The first key is to be a mess, and you're ready, man.
Also, Greg, I want to say that as far as child actors go, solid future in front of you. Like, usually it ends great.
Yeah,
So-
I can honestly, I can think of no child actors who have struggled.
None.
So
Lucky people. Yeah.
None at all. Not even in recent media.
Richard Hammond he's sick, right? Yeah, he's kind of
I
sick.
don't know.
Well, Say seems a little sick, and we encounter his nephew. What the hell's that character?
I don't know his name. I never got his name.
Shitbag.
Yeah, it's douchey bag.
Is
And-
that?
Douchey bag.
Yeah, douchey bag. So, and the way they introduce him, the camera just like pans into him, and then he's walking down the stairs, and he's in the scene, right? And he's signing paperwork from one of his lackeys. Isn't that the first scene with douchey bag?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
he was the lawyer at first.
Right.
It kinda
I
looks
just
like a
thought he
lawyer.
was a lawyer too. No, he's a nephew, and apparently he's got some power at InGen.
Yep. And this is one of those Navi moments where it's like, hey, listen, this is the bad guy. It's completely obvious right from the moment
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you see him. Okay, this is the villain of the movie.
Yep.
And just like in the first movie, they're putting it right in front of you.
Well,
and
then
giving you
Richard
the answers.
recap Hammond tells you everything that happened in the first movie. It goes through the whole thing to make just in case you forgot what happened the last time.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
All right, so I do like that he basically gets manipulated to going to the island because he was like, hell no, I'm not going to the fucking dinosaur place again. Are you out of your mind?
Fucking stupid.
What part of what happened with us at your stupid party island makes you think that I would be interested in any way in going to the other island? What was it? Isla...
I don't know. Island B. Site B.
Sure, Site B.
He kept calling it Site B, and that's all
He called it Site B in that scene. They call it the island name the rest of the movie, but I don't care.
Yeah, I couldn't catch it. I didn't care enough to catch it.
No, there's a little map that they zoom in on later, and it has all these little islands. It's like it's a group of 5 or 6 islands. There's
Near
Off of Costa
Costa Rica.
Yeah.
There's
Think-
Isla Pina, Isla Tecano, there's Isla Scorna, Isla Morito,
I give a fuck.
Isla something. Either way, it's a set of islands that they're technically going to.
Yeah, it's a string of 5 islands.
Yeah.
I know
They call
Island.
it the 5 Deaths,
The
the local
Five
boat
Deaths.
Yeah.
pilot.
It's a great
captain
vacation
does.
spot. Yeah. The Harbinger.
They
of-
do like to camp on those islands, from what I understand.
You guys
But-
want a spring break in the Bermuda Triangle with me, and we can just disappear?
So
Already?
Jeff Goldblum's getting ready to
Goes
go.
to the island. We get introduced to the rest
Yeah.
of the. Well, we get introduced to his daughter
Well, he's getting ready. It's not a huge
while
deal.
he's getting
Yeah.
ready.
She seems boring, but whatever.
We find out she was a gymnast that got booted from the team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important later.
It really shows
Um,
up.
And
You're not kidding. No.
and we get introduced to the rest of the crew that's going to be there because there's going to be 4 total. So we've got Sarah, Doctor Girlfriend,
Yeah.
right? That's her name.
Yeah, Dr. Girlfriend,
Yep.
Mhm.
Dr. Chaos. That's
Dr. Malcolm or Jeff
yeah,
Goldblum.
Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum. And then we've got 2 more people.
Vince
One
Vaughn.
is Vince Vaughn, who is a photographer who has worked in war zones and wildlife photography,
Dr. Wedding Crasher.
and Dr. Wedding Crasher.
Yep,
And
I
we've
like
got the equipment manager who builds stuff and doesn't know how to use a sat phone.
Dr.
Yes.
Meat.
I
Dr.
love
Dead
that-
Meat.
Well,
He's the ugly one.
yeah, I love that this guy is like the nerdy tech guy, but he's also supposed to be like a field guy, and it just doesn't work. Like, what are you putting this guy out on the field for?
And he's the ugly one.
Yeah,
You're
but-
like, oh man, you're
Well, it doesn't
ugly.
jive that he's the equipment guy and isn't like, well, here, let me see if there's something I can do to fix this. It's fuck you, it doesn't work.
Right.
We meet these guys. Everybody's pissed off because we've got what was supposed to be happening 3 days from now is happening now.
Yeah.
And they haven't tested all the things that I feel like they should have been testing this shit.
It was
3 days before they were going.
Dinosaur Island. The last time, how many people fucking died?
We can wait to test
still
this
gonna
until
go.
10 minutes
'Cause
before we leave. It's
Nothing broke last
fine.
time. All the tech worked perfectly last time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and did you notice too? Like they showed the gun and explained what the gun does, and
Yeah. Gets you
okay,
high.
this is obviously going to be a big thing later in the movie, so we're going to talk about how this gun works.
Yeah.
The PSI of the gun and the details of the gun.
You know what? They probably did that so that people couldn't nitpick them. That would never pierce a dinosaur's skin. Those darts would be useless.
That's why you invent something that doesn't exist. And you just go, listen, since dinosaurs exist, we made this thing to kill
We
dinosaurs.
have a dinosaur gun.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a
but-
thing. We're going to murder some dinosaurs with it.
Yeah.
We're finally fully equipped and tested and field ready with all this brand new technology that they literally just made
Yeah.
for this trip.
Great.
Just in time.
Science bus.
The science bus. We got dino cannons. We got sleepy darts.
super, like, sleepy darts that it hit. If you got stuck with one, you just die.
We got death darts. That's right. They got the conch shell poison.
Death darts, they seem to like pulling out in crowds of fleeing
Whoa.
humans.
You can talk about pulling out in your own private
Yeah.
time.
My own private podcast.
Let's get into it now. So, did they have any transition scenes between we're packed up, we're ready to go, now we're on the island, or was it
There
just
was a boat.
cut
the
to the
boat
island?
scene.
There was a boat scene.
Remember they were
the Harbinger told them, like, don't go on that island. It's called the Five Deaths.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy
Yeah.
that didn't speak
I mean,
English.
he said it in Spanish.
Well,
so-
and the nice thing is he's freaking out speaking in Spanish, but he conveniently pauses for the translation, even though he's not like a representative of a country. He just says a sentence and pauses. Says a sentence and pauses. If he was really freaking out, he'd be freaking out, and then they would be struggling to translate.
Yeah.
So
it would
just
be
pointing that out. Nitpicking this movie because I didn't like it as much, but
Right. Also, let's just be honest. Like, always listen to the Harbinger.
always,
Oh, we
come
learned
on.
that
Have
one.
you not seen Cabin in the Woods? Like, or did we not do that podcast?
Brian, are you throwing back to an episode you were on? Bad form.
That's all. I've already talked about Jurassic Park, Cabin in the Woods. We can wrap it up, guys. We're done. So yeah, the Harbinger was warning them about going to the island. He didn't want to get close to it.
He
right?
wasn't even going to keep his boat around. He was like, well, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I'll be 2 hours away when you're ready for me. I'll head back.
But that's their chaos is like, yeah, no shit, I want to go too. I don't want to go to this fucking island.
They get they get science bus parked up somewhere, and they go looking for Sarah. First thing they do, just start yelling Sarah.
Yes, it was exactly like watching or playing Heavy Rain when his son gets away and he's like, "What's his name? Ian? Ian?
Oh yeah, with
Or The Walking
chasing
Dead.
the balloon
Girl!
and-
Yeah,
Girl!
I was having that exact like moment, like they're just all shouting Sarah, 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 and I think one of my favorite lines of the movie was at this point because who says her last name?
That was the photographer.
The photographer. He says Sarah, whatever your last name
Harding.
is, and who
Sarah
is it that
Harding.
made the comment? Was it Jeff Goldblum?
It was Dr. Ian Malcolm. Dr. Chaos himself
Yeah.
said, "How many Sarahs do you think are on the island?"
And like, could being a dick, dude. He's just trying to make a larger sound
Okay.
profile.
Okay, but then
Yeah.
3 stegosauri named Sarah burst out of the
They
woods
were all named Sarah.
Yeah.
They
What
were.
were they called?
because they were called.
That's right.
Oh, that's why.
They shouted and Sarah's came.
That makes so much sense. And I love that when they were shouting after they found this backpack with a hole in it and all this, that
Oh, wait. The backpack is the most important character in this movie. Much
Talk
like
about that.
the Bong Cup in Cabin in the Woods.
The lucky
Oh.
backpack.
Yeah, the lucky backpack. The lucky backpack shows up a couple of times and saves Sarah's shit. We'll talk
It
about
saves
it. as it
everybody's
shows up.
shit
Yeah.
a couple of times.
Yeah.
oh, I didn't notice that.
So don't.
Don't they say the lucky backpack?
I recognize at least twice when it happened. There might have been more.
So
They-
and that means that there was an implied time that it saved her before this because of the hole.
Right.
So
Yep.
so that's like extra. That's bonus.
That thing's been there for her.
Yeah. But Sarah's like a cat. Doesn't come uncalled.
Yeah, and when
Yeah.
they're
Nope.
shouting for her though.
Especially since she was, 40 feet away on the
Dude,
other side of the
stumbled
damn
across
log.
her. She
She's
just
right
walked
there.
up to her. Yeah, like,
She's-
oops.
And then suddenly she only hears the last time they call out Sarah from a guy that's 12 feet away. Like, come on, you're stressing
Nick.
everybody out, Sarah.
Hey, Nick!
God,
I'm right in this river. The 40 feet from you guys while you were yelling. I didn't come because fuck you guys.
This is where Sarah sees the baby turtlesaurus.
Baby Turtlesaurus.
It was supposed to be a baby stegosaurus. It looks like a weird turtle. It's just a weird Muppet turtle, kind of wiggling around in the ground. Obviously, it can't move any other part of its body but its head. The rest of it's just like made of stone, just stuck to the ground.
The CG in this movie, or not the CG, well, the CG too.
Yeah, but the
CG and the puppetry in this movie was subpar versus the first Jurassic Park.
And Sarah, who has never had a bad experience with dinosaurs before, gets right up in this fucking thing's face and is like taking pictures with it and fucking with it, and everybody else is like, "Whoa, what are you doing?"
You shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are interrupting, you are interfering, and the one thing that someone like her wouldn't do in real life is mess with the natural
She even
environment.
says that.
Yeah, right after she messes with it, she declares that no one should mess with it,
She
right?
contradicts herself all the time in this movie.
Right after
Yeah.
that, it
She was
drove me
excited to
nuts.
see a dinosaur. Come on.
You know, like on one hand, it was exciting to see a lady scientist like as one of the heroes of the movie, but she's so incompetent. Like it really isn't a credit.
Yeah, and that proves itself in 2 seconds later when she startles a baby dinosaur and all the other stegosauruses come stampeding.
All the Sarahs come back.
Yeah, all the Sarahs
100%.
come back. Yeah.
And Roger Ebert from that review points out, and I agree with him, that Spielberg sets up these characters that potentially could have been in a great movie in a great environment to just do stupid things. Like a monster movie, just doing stupid things,
Amateur
causing
hour.
problems. Like, you're not that stupid. Why is your character doing something so dumb just to create a situation for you? Why couldn't it have been something else other than her stupid behavior? But interfering with a baby dinosaur, the plot begins.
Well,
Oh,
we get
God.
another
We get a few
interference
of those
here, too.
interferences.
But this one is a fire at base camp.
Oh, yeah. So Dr. Chaos does something that nobody else did in the other movie. He shows regard for the lives of children and doesn't want his daughter to come with them. He says earlier on, "You can't come with me, obviously, because you're a child." Unlike the first movie, you're like, "Oh, kids, yeah, go out play with the dinosaurs. Climb that fence before me. We'll see if you get hurt. Then I'll follow you up." And in this movie,
I'll test it with something that doesn't conduct electricity, though. Don't
oh
worry.
my God, that's why that guy's out of this movie, and everybody else is like, kind of an asshole.
He's in prison for
Yeah.
abusing children.
When they got the story from the kids, they're like, "Oh shit, we don't like you anymore. Get away."
Right.
But she stows away because you knew that was. If you watched earlier, they beat Jordan had like everything else with it. She's obviously going to show up further in the movie.
Yep, because she checks out the trailer. You know she's going to hide out in it.
Yeah, she goes, "I thought that's what you wanted me to do because you're Dr. Chaos and you're my dad."
That's exactly what she said.
Basically, yeah.
But you said, don't listen to me. I thought you meant show up. Yeah, right.
We get one glimpse of Dr. Chaos and Sarah's relationship, and it's just gross. They're calling each other baby, and it's just, "Hey, baby." You're like, oh, come on, guys. Like, kids in the room. Can we?
I mean, that's how you build chemistry between actors, is make them use weird terms that people that have never been in a relationship before
Gross
seem to
pet
use.
names that makes all your friends
Right.
uncomfortable when they do it in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has that friend who calls his wife or girlfriend baby right in front of you, and you're just like,
Really? That's what you're going with? You're going with baby?
yeah, like, she has a name. Can we just call it? Can I call her by her name? What should
Do
I
have
call
to
her?
call her baby?
Greg, I'm calling you baby for the rest
You
of the podcast.
call me baby there, baby.
All right, baby.
Baby.
Yeah,
So the more
back,
important
My
baby
than
darling voluptuous
the
toadstool.
non-existent chemistry between most of these actors,
yeah.
the first helicopter is here.
Hell yeah.
Helicopter
Yeah.
budget.
Velocicopter, baby.
Oh, so sad about the other movie had no helicopters. This one had like a dozen helicopters. It was beautiful.
And
It was glorious.
Yeah, I'm assuming
Vehicles
that
hanging from chains from
Oh.
helicopters.
They made up for it quick. So,
Yeah.
But anyway, this whole like safari crew busts in, right? This is what transitions them
Team
into.
Evil is what we refer to them as from here
Team
on out.
Rocket.
Yeah, this was the big distraction. We're like, oh, who's flying in, right? Who's coming in? And some people begin to get introduced here. And this is where
Yeah.
the movie turns a little bit.
we get
Our
Russian-
antagonists.
The Russian from Armageddon shows up, Lev.
the Russian from John Wick, Lev.
Oh, yeah.
and the Russian also from Lethal Weapon.
The Russian from Seinfeld. He's also in an episode of Seinfeld.
Is he good?
Yeah.
That guy's great.
The episode where they move the Frogger arcade machine across the street. He's in that.
I haven't seen
He's
that
in
one, but I'm gonna go watch it now because I want to absorb that man's work.
Yeah, we really need to just have a podcast dedicated to his work.
Right.
I'm in.
Yeah, and there's who's the other guy? What's his name? He's the only person with a name that really matters.
Roland Tembo.
Yeah, Roland Temble's important.
And he does cut in, and he kind of has a little bit of a monologue, right, while they're going through this, bouncing around on this truck. And another thing from Ebert, I'm going to quote back to him. He is the only person in this movie that acts like he's on an island full of freaking dinosaurs.
Right.
And
Right.
he's the only one that acts in awe and fear and respect of what's going on here. And the only one that really reacts to the situation the way that you'd think somebody who knew what they were doing would. And even in this moment when he's yelling at the other guy about doing something stupid, don't tell me what to do. I'm the professional.
He said I have three requirements. One is you gotta listen to what I say.
Yes.
The other one is
I get to kill a T-Rex.
I get to kill a male T-Rex.
A buck, he specifies. Yeah. He specifically calls it a buck, which I don't think I've ever heard a male dinosaur ever being referred to by that specific hunting term, but I guess it makes sense.
But he also said you got to keep my fee for some reason. He didn't want to get paid.
Right.
He didn't want to get paid because he knew he wasn't going to get to kill a dinosaur if he also got paid.
Yep.
Right.
He said that's all he wanted to do, right? That was his main goal.
But he also told this guy, because this guy kept trying to give him, the nephew or whatever, kept trying to give him orders, and he was like, I've taken enough dangerous advice from rich dentists who go out on safari with me that I know better at this point, which is hilarious because the guy who got in trouble for killing Cecil the lion was a rich dentist. I was like, it's like totally must have been a thing.
Totally predictive.
That like happens. I had no idea was a thing that happened.
Yeah,
it's a pattern.
Apparently.
Yeah, some sort of pattern there. Rich dentist, man.
Dental pattern.
Right from this moment, I was thinking, because it's been so many years since I've seen this is the best actor in the movie. And it actually plays true over and over again. Behind the scenes, Steven Spielberg elbows our Russian villain from Lethal Weapon and every other movie ever. And he actually says to him, he whispers into his ear, he's like, hey, that's a great act. One day, you'll be a great actor like him. And it's great because the Russian actor tells that story, and it's just hilarious.
That's great. Funny. I also have to say I like the Russian a lot more in Armageddon because he tortures 100% less animals. Team Evil.
Team Evil is actually InGen, the company that John Hammond used to run but has now been ousted by the board, and they are there to harvest.
Grab some dinosaurs and leave.
They're going to grab some dinos,
loot,
take them back to the old mainland, and start a little party in San Diego, California. That is Spanish for the whale's vagina.
Yes. Proven fact. I saw in the movie once.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped the movie after that, so as far as I know, it's a proven fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to make Jurassic Park SeaWorld, right?
They want to bring them to a zoo because that worked perfectly last time it happened.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He was overreaching. My grasp is where I can reach, or whatever he said. His stupid nephew.
He's shut the fuck up. There's no he's talking about.
Human fart noise. That's what that guy is.
Human fart noise. So they capture a bunch of dinosaurs. It's pretty boring. And this is where Roland, at first, you're like, this guy's a complete fucking asshole. He's just capturing these dinosaurs it looks he's keeping them in these tiny cages or miserable. And he goes and he actually captures a baby T-Rex and breaks its leg.
Yeah, and then they fool you into thinking that Roland now is the new villain. He's the main bad guy.
Oh yeah,
they got you thinking like Roland is the guy to watch out for
because he found a nest of baby T-Rexes, breaks one of their legs, and leaves it as bait for the mother T-Rex or the father T-Rex is what he really wants because he wants to kill it.
He just wants to kill a dinosaur.
Yeah. And you know what? That's shitty. But overall, the guy's not the worst. Like far from the villain in this movie.
Yeah, and it's a nice little bait and switch moment where like at this point I hate Roland. I hate him.
Who could sit there and listen to that fucking little baby T-Rex scream? I want to help it.
And we're gonna take a break.
Their nesting sites are concentrated in the island interior, which is why we plan to keep to the upper rim.
Wait a minute. What's that? Velociraptor. Carnivore. Pack hunter. About 2 meters tall, long snout, binocular vision, strong dexterous forearms, and killing claws on both feet.
And the Rexes may continue to track us, too, if they perceive a threat to themselves or to their infant.
No, you're wrong there, Dr. Harding. We'll lose them once we leave their territory.
No, don't bet on it. Tyrannosaurus got the largest proportional olfactory cavity of any creature in the fossil record, with the exception of one.
Right, a turkey vulture could scent up to 10 miles.
Right. This is all very thrilling, but I say we should push on to the village. We could.
It is beer time.
Beard time.
All right, so beer, Greg.
Beer. We had
something.
Let me get it.
It's over here.
We had Founders beer called Lizard of Kaz.
Lizard of Kaz.
It's an imperial stout brewed with blueberries, chocolate, and vanilla, aged in bourbon barrels. So the Founders, they got it. This is definitely a beer. This Lizard of Kaz.
Well, Liz didn't make a fun sound.
We
there.
put it in a glass and we drank it,
It was very expensive.
It was a very expensive beer.
Yeah.
Who wants to start? You can start with this one, Ricardo.
I think if anything has proven true in my years of drinking, a certain price point, like something gets too expensive, I'm usually not going to like it. And this is one of those things. It's just too much. It's too complicated. It's too many flavors for me, I think.
Okay.
I'm going to tear myself down here and just say the only thing I really like about it is that it's strong. But I'm not it's a stout, right?
Yeah, it's an imperial stout.
Yeah, not a big fan of stout. Definitely not a big fan of like twice that strong.
Yeah.
Twice that much stout, which is very.
I mean, this stuff's 10.5%.
Yeah, the imperial stout means it's the king of stouts. That's a lot of stout.
Looking at it as a non-beer drinker, it looks like molasses to me.
Take a little bit, swish it around in your mouth, and spit it back out into the cup.
Look at the napkin in front of you where I wiped up the spill. The few drops that like got on the table, it's just like saturated in brown. The color
fumes
is
already
so
getting me
deep.
drunk. That's how
Brian
sensitive I
is
am.
Look at the table.
wasted. He won't drink,
Just
but
lick
he
the
is
table.
wasted from the fumes.
Just go get a plastic straw. There's a few left in the world, and go and just suck it up off the
Why do
table.
we got to make fun of the plastic straw thing so much? Why does everybody hate on the?
I don't hate
not
on it. That's a
using
good
plastic
thing. Whatever.
straw?
We don't need to have plastic straws.
It's
So I'm
just
going
an
to make fun of it.
acknowledgement of a thing
I just
happening
think
in
it's
the world.
funny that like people will totally ditch plastic straws to save some fish, but they won't not eat fish to save some fish.
Well, Rich and
I
I
need
made
more
the
fish to eat.
Rich and I made the decision
I don't need
before
more straws
printing
to
the 200 pages of notes for this podcast that to save paper, instead of printing them on notes, we're going to print them on plastic straws.
Yeah, I'm sick of using all my paper, so we're printing them on plastic straws that we get from Starbucks.
That's right, 35 straws per page.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't like if you like
Imperial stout.
imperial stouts, you might like this, but I don't. So I don't. This is a not drink it for me. No drink it.
No drink it.
No drink it,
What if
Liz.
it were free?
Oh, God.
I'm talking here, Liz.
I'm sorry.
No
You were
drinking.
stuck on the straw page.
I know
idea.
where you're
You could-
stuck.
The straw paper.
How do you feel about this beer, buddy?
Or is it praw?
Terrible. I feel terrible about this beer. I feel deeply regretful that we spent money on it.
Is it that bad?
Regretful.
It's horrible. I can't have another sip of it, and I am not one to naysay a beer very often.
She never nays.
I not
Yeah.
very rarely, but this
She is not a horse.
What's the name of this one?
The one that we've got in our hands, the cans,
Yeah.
tangerine dank juice.
Ah.
We'll talk about it, but
the
it's
other
not
one was
it's not
lizard
really
themed. And I was
Oh.
like, dinosaurs
Yeah, this
are
was
in
our
this movie are like
dinosaur
lizards.
beer.
Ooh,
And-
the word dinosaur means what?
Thunder lizard.
Thunder lizard.
Thunder
Dinosaur.
lizard.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Dino DNA.
Dino DNA.
How again do you find these beers? Because that's amazing to me that you found a lizard beer. That just blows my mind.
It was on a shelf.
Was this at Flicks?
No, actually, I went to one of my other favorite liquor stores because we were in Ipsy, the Keg. But anyways, how'd you feel about this beer, Gregory?
As soon as it hit my mouth, I was like, this tastes like cough syrup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it literally tastes like the regular, like, what is it? What color is that NyQuil? Red or green or whatever?
Like it's purple?
It's very
It's like orange-ish.
it's
It's
not
maple.
great. Is
Oh,
I
you're
guess
right.
the best way to
Green.
describe it. Not great.
Yeah, great.
Maybe if it were really cold, but I feel like a stout shouldn't have to be cold.
Right, that's not the point, right?
I did not enjoy its full-bodied, very sweet flavor.
It's robust.
It tasted like
flavor profile.
It tasted like wine almost to me, just an extra sweet wine. It was
Okay.
very thick, very heavy mouthfeel, not very bubbly. I
But wine
did not
is
love
drinkable.
it. I would drink it if it were given to me, but not very much of it.
And slowly,
Because
right?
it was given to me, and I did not drink very much of it, but I didn't just take a drink and stop.
You made it through the glass. I was
Yeah.
amazed.
Well, I mean, I really thought coming into this that you guys would have Bud Light as the beer. And hear me out on why. Because Budweiser, everybo's had, right? It's like the original everyone has. A lot of people like it. It sold extremely well.
Bad beer.
Best-selling beer in, like, the world, right? So, right off the bat, I thought you guys would go, oh, well, let's find a watered-down version of something that everybody loved that isn't as good as the original, that is obviously the sequel that was produced to just make money. So I thought it'd be the perfect beer for
Maybe
That's
Brian
solid.
for Lost
maybe-
World.
That is really
So,
fucking good. That's,
I seriously thought that you guys would walk in here with Bud Light the whole
Maybe
time. I
Brian
thought,
needs to be making our beer recommendations.
For
you should have
real.
told us that. I would have brought Bud Light and we would have suffered, but we would have drank those because they taste like water at some point.
I was thinking, I was
That
totally
doesn't
thinking
taste
they're
like
going to bring in a
water.
watered down sequel to an original beer. That's exactly what's going to happen. So everything that I bring has two really base purposes, okay? The first purpose, the most important one, is to make sure I get something that's extremely difficult for Rich to edit out of the podcast if we do choose to eat it.
Crinkling noises while you're talking?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Actually, if you could make more crinkling noises, the less audible you are, the easier it is just to cut this whole section.
Perfect. The second thing that I require of myself when I bring something is that it fits the theme. So I thought to myself, what is something that is 100% 1990s that people just love to eat up, right? So here it is.
He's got the Gushers.
Who loves Gushers in this room?
This podcast has had Gushers before, actually.
Everybody loves Gushers, right? I think everyone can agree that this is one of the greatest things that the 90s put out, just like Jurassic Park, right?
Crack in the World was built on Gushers and fruit roll-ups.
But
we fueled ourselves with those through that first episode.
But there's more. So here.
There's more.
Open this.
But Greg, there's more.
That was easy.
Yeah. Have a pack of Gushers there.
These aren't Gushers.
Well, what's funny is, tell me what it is.
Mott's assorted fruit.
And everyone can agree that no one likes Mott's assorted fruit as much as Gushers, right?
What a disappointment.
You're a bad friend.
Here we have, now hear me out. The reason that this is my item that I brought is Spielberg and crew decided they have this beautiful
birthday.
They have this beautiful package that they can sell.
There's not even real Gushers in this box.
Yep. How disappointing is
Fuck
it?
you, Liz.
When you open up, how disappointing is it that when you open up a box of Gushers, inside of it are Mott's fruit chews?
There better be Gushers in these Mott's bags or
there's
you're going
not.
home, Brian.
There's not. And the thing is that you've already bought into it, right? Steven Spielberg and crew, they released a trailer. They put a logo out. It was Jurassic Park. You're going to go see Jurassic Park. And here's the problem with this movie, okay? It's not just how bad the movie is. Everyone walks in with the thought, the 90s were great. Jurassic Park was great. I am going to get something as good as Gushers. I am getting Gushers because I love Gushers. The problem is that no Gusher is as good as the first Gusher you ever had. But Spielberg
the Gusher Dragon, I get it.
They made
Talking
Gusher
about
money
addiction right now, guys.
They made Gusher money off of freaking Mott's fruit chews is what happened. So what this movie did to culture is exactly what just happened to you guys.
Brian, I'm going to figure out where the fuck you live.
Drops Mike.
I'm going to take your house and I'm going to replace it with the worst house. You're going to come home. Your house is going to be worse.
We're going to find your hidden Mickey and burn it to the ground.
I knew that would happen, so I actually did keep the real Gushers. I did keep the real Gushers to hand out.
Like
and throw overthrow.
You can't.
So don't worry, guys. We've got real Gushers, so please don't kill me.
Brian never lets us down. Brian, all that stuff I said earlier about your house.
Yep.
Just forget about that.
I figured that was
true, but all right. So where are we coming back to here?
We're at this point, Greg, where they go to rescue this baby dinosaur. Vince Vaughn, global eco-terrorist Vince Vaughn. We find out that Vince Vaughn is some sort of
yeah, he's basically like a
militant
Greenpeace type dude.
Yeah, not a big deal.
Well, yeah, he said what how does he introduce himself
He's a
as
secret
the
weapon.
Marine? What was the line that he said?
Oh, when they were like, he sent a contingency plan, and they
Yes.
were like, "What's the plan?" Me.
Like he
does is cut some padlocks and
Yes,
fucking
steal some
let a
bullets.
dinosaur out.
My man does not meet expectations. I
No.
thought there was going to be a Rambo montage.
Right.
I knew it wasn't going to either. I was like, this guy's not going to do any backflips. Like, he's not going to do anything cool. He's just,
You're gonna kill somebody with a fucking pencil?
yeah, he's going to, like, strangle somebody to death with a monofilament that you carry in your pocket. He did nothing interesting.
And you know what? It met my expectations because a few minutes earlier, he was holding a
already so
Sony
low.
cam and he was pushing the buttons on it like he was an actor on TV playing a video game. Like, he didn't have any idea what the heck was
Yeah, he
happening.
did not look like a photographer or videographer.
He's just
to me.
fidgeting on buttons, and I was okay.
Or
he's
anybody
not
has
going
any
anywhere.
sort of military training of any kind, or was
Yeah.
competent anything other than quipping, which he didn't even do in this movie.
Nope.
Although I do feel
Didn't
like,
crash a single wedding.
no, he didn't crash a single wedding. 0 weddings crashed. So Team Evil, they're giving a PowerPoint presentation to their investors,
Right.
to show them all like what they're going to do once they capture these
they're talking
dinosaurs.
to investors. They're getting ready to do this stuff.
Yeah.
and
Vince
we've got
Vaughn announces his Ramboism.
Yeah, and he goes with Dr. Sarah, and they go and they rescue all the dinosaurs, while the other people go and rescue the fucking
the T-Rex.
the
with
T-Rex
broken
who's
leg.
screaming. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember who did what, but whatever. So now all the dinosaurs escape and they trample all Team Evil's stuff. And while that's happening, the baby dinosaur gets rescued. It's screaming. It's pathetic. They take it back to the science bus.
Yep.
Where Dr.
Wait.
Sarah.
Didn't he also rescue the?
He might
yeah,
have done
he
both.
also rescued because it was Dr. Harding
Harding. Yeah.
Harding Pants.
Dr. Sarah Harding.
Dr. Sarah.
Dr. Girlfriend.
But he
Dr.
gets
Girlfriend.
back. They get back to
they
this.
go and get the dinosaur.
Okay, because Malcolm stays back. Malcolm gets on a CB and gets in a really stupid conversation with the Spanish lady.
He's trying to get off the island. Goddamn.
Yeah.
That's right. You're right. Yeah. Which is the right thing to do. But he gets in a conversation with some Spanish lady
Who accuses him as her boyfriend of cheating on her.
He does, but here's the thing: this is another moment where he would have lost his mind.
Yeah.
They walk in with a baby T-Rex. He recognizes it as such, and he just carries on with what he was doing after a small objection.
And she's a science like a dinosaur scientist and doesn't realize that this screaming T-Rex is going to draw other T-Rexes. Like that was the first thing I thought. I was like, fuck, I haven't seen this movie in almost 20 years. And I was like, oh god, the T-Rex is going to come for him. Of course it is. This thing's screaming.
100%. And the only person who begins to pick up on this,
It's Kelly.
that's right.
She's like, she goes, smartest thing said in this movie so far. I don't want to be in here anymore. We need to leave.
Yes,
And she
there's a
gets the
baby
high
freaking
ground. She goes,
T-Rex.
I want to get higher.
Yes, this is the smartest thing said in the movie, and the problem is that nobody's recognizing this, and this is another moment, just like when she touched the baby Stegosaurus, where I'm like, what are you thinking?
And I was thinking the same thing when Kelly goes, I want to get higher. I was like, me too.
Right, and
Because I am not high enough right now for this movie. And I wrote in my notes, carrying a small crying T-Rex is the easiest way to get eaten by a bigger hungry T-Rex.
yes,
So,
and we all know this.
yeah.
Yeah. So they get this T-Rex into the thing, and all of a sudden we get, mom and dad are here.
But now we get,
And
first movie had one T-Rex. This is the sequel.
That's right. Remember we
Sequel
said
needs-
earlier, twice as much.
Twice as many T-Rexes.
That's right. Add
T-Rex.
more, put in more. Let's just put another T-Rex in.
More fear.
Yep.
More-
Movie number
more-
two. Number two T-Rex.
More
Hungry
fiend.
animals. More food.
morphine.
Morphine. There is more, something close anyways. So those T-Rexes come, and honestly, long story short, they shove Science Bus
Science
off
bus
the side.
gets shoved off the thing. It's just a fairly generic action sequence.
They let the baby
Especially
T-Rex
now,
out. It
we've
lives. Yeah.
seen stuff like this happen
In every Jurassic Park
so
movie.
many damn movies now.
A
Yeah.
few interesting things about this scene, though, is this is another scene that we've seen already in the first movie.
Right.
The only difference is that there's two T-Rexes, right?
And there's
So-
no tree to catch the truck.
These
It's just an
yes,
actual
that's
truck.
true. These T-Rexes, though, they decide to push this trailer off of the edge, off the cliff. We literally saw that already.
Right.
T-Rex pushes vehicle off the cliff, puts people in danger as they dangle, right? This was already done. Just like the beginning of the movie. Dinosaur kills somebody at the beginning of the movie. Just like at this point. Like the pacing of the movie is...
It's identical. I like
Yeah.
it better in Uncharted 2 or 3, where you have to climb up the train. It's like the same scene.
I Uncharted too.
Is it 2?
Yeah.
But here
a
lies
great
my problem with
scene.
this scene,
Yeah.
is that behind the scenes again, you learn that this movie, or this part of the movie, was a last-minute decision.
Of course.
The T-Rexes were going to come and attack the trailers, do their damage, and go away. And then somebody says, hey, we should put a cliff here and make them dangle off the cliff.
Oh my god.
If you're going to have a last-minute idea,
Literal
let
cliffhanger,
let
right?
it be something that is not from the first movie. Like, if you're going to have this great idea that's going to cost $1 million to put in the movie, why are you going to make it the same exact
I'll
thing
tell you
already
why.
did, like it was a good idea?
I will tell you why. First time Sarah's lucky backpack saves her life, because she almost falls out of this fucking thing, but it catches,
That's
and then
true.
and then Dr. Chaos pulls her up.
Yeah.
So there we go.
But this whole
Lucky backpack.
This whole scene is a callback to the first one.
And we get our first death around this point though, because Eddie, the ugly friend,
Yep.
he tries to save them. Brave as fuck, dodges T-Rex mouse left and right, will not give up trying to save them. Does no good. Does nothing to save them other than gives them a rope. And when he throws the rope down to them, of course, Dr. Chaos has to throw some fucking joke about, can you order me a burger too? It's like, dude, you have a limited amount of time. You're hanging off a cliff. Maybe
Yes.
not the right time for a bunch of jokes about what food you can get from the fast food market.
Well, and this is the point in the movie where superhuman strength is expressed, which is unbelievable to me. They're hanging from this rope for like this whole scene drags out. They're hanging and they're hanging and they're hanging, and then they fall and they hang. You remember in elementary school how hard it was to hang onto that rope for as long as you needed to?
I did rock climbing for a while. It was something that I was into for a few years.
Mhm.
It takes years of practice to be able to hang anything longer than like 30 seconds. Like, it's tough.
Even if your life counts
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You gotta. It's a built-up strength thing, and it's a technique thing. Normal person can't just hang. Whatever. The T-Rex doesn't kill them, right? But Eddie dies.
Yeah.
Eddie gets eaten.
Yeah, and
It's true.
The problem with this scene is that if you think that it's stressful, maybe we're missing the point that it's a positive set of circumstances, right? So here we are. You got free bungee jumping. It's expensive to do that, but here it costs nothing.
Yeah.
You're bungee jumping, being protected from the wind by a trailer. Who gets that benefit, right?
Yeah.
You get to see dinosaurs. You're trapped on an island with dinosaurs. What kid didn't want to be trapped in the zoo overnight?
Ian Malcolm.
So this, well, maybe one
Only
person,
Ian Malcolm,
right?
though.
But
Ian Malcolm.
in reality, cue the happy music. Quit complaining. This is a disastrously fortunate set of circumstances.
You haven't died yet. You're probably going to live.
Yeah, and in the end, you're going to climb up your rope, and who's going to be there to save you? The very people who want to cut your rope, but instead choose to save your life. You let go of all their dinosaur trapped little pets, and they're
Team Evil.
pissed.
Team Evil values human life more than it values animal life.
Bingo. That's something we begin to learn.
That's that's pretty much most people.
That's true.
But there's a couple times that Roland, at one point, like a little bit after this, Roland, somebody gets eaten by a dinosaur, and Roland goes, "Don't tell the girl."
Yes,
He says, "Don't tell the girl." And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, yeah.
this is one of the first scenes when they climb this rope where you learn that Roland is actually the hero and Vince Vaughn is the villain, in my opinion.
A bit, yeah. Vince Vaughn gets people killed in this movie.
He does.
Yeah, he gets people rescued, but he also gets them killed.
Yes, he does.
So now we are at the part where they're with Team Evil. They're hiking to get to the
And
park.
it's not like Team Evil was kidnapping them or anything.
No.
They're just like, we should probably all get off this island.
They're helping them actually at this point. They're gonna be Team Evil for the rest of this, but they're proven to not be as evil as originally thought.
Right. I mean, they just wanted to collect some of technically their property and get off the island.
So Lev, I don't know his name in the movie. It doesn't matter. The Russian guy. He goes to use the bathroom. Doesn't take a rope or anything with them to get back to camp because this seasoned safarian doesn't understand how to fucking do the thing that he's been doing for 20 plus years probably.
Yes.
So he goes to use the bathroom, gets completely lost. He tells one person he's wearing headphones. The guy doesn't acknowledge that he's leaving, but he still goes. But Lev is kind of a dick in this movie, and he was like torturing these little the baby dinosaurs with his cattle prod.
Yep, the little copy dinosaurs.
So
yep.
of course that means the little chirpy guys, and of course that means he gets eaten. And they tortured him a little bit, and they eat him.
Yeah, and they do, and that's the thing though. Like, there's sort of a movie trope when someone slides down and falls something muddy.
Yeah,
they are warped into another dimension where no one can hear them or find them, or it either takes them to danger or it takes them to safety. And we see that a couple times in this.
And
movie.
they always lose their gun.
Yes, 100%.
Can't go back for the gun. Yeah, he would never go back for it.
I slid down mud. There's no way I could climb up it with all that vegetation there. I better find another way. I'm completely lost.
Leave my gun there.
I slid 15 feet. I'm forever lost. And he slides down, and these are little puppets. A lot of the scene where they're on him and it's close to him, it's a suit that they use, and they're like tied to him, and they move the little strings, and
it's
awesome.
Really fucking lame.
Yeah, and
what it is.
They told him that he couldn't touch them, and he begged them like, "Can I just have one to touch?" So the scene where it bites his lip and
yeah.
That's all his idea. So it bites his lip and then he throws it on the ground. That was his contribution to the movie, to where he felt proud that he was able to add that in there by ruining one of their puppets. But I feel
That's
like
awesome.
in this scene, though, I do like the CG in this scene where they're running and chasing him. I feel like that was pretty well done. But when it moves to the puppets, I'm less impressed.
The puppets were terrible. The CG is mostly okay in this. It's just not
Passable.
great. It
Right.
definitely does not
It's
hold
too
up
bright
as well
and
as
contrasting to what was.
the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not a safari scientist, but I don't think this guy was safariing right
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
So he dies. That's great. One less character to follow.
Terrific.
Yeah, I'm just tired. There's too many characters to follow right now. We got to wipe a couple out.
Right, so he's gone, but who goes to save him?
Roland tries to find him. He doesn't
Captain
find him.
King Evil again shows himself. He's
Only one who goes after him. The only one.
He's the good guy. He saves them off the cliff. He tells them not to tell the girl that somebody's missing if he's gonna die. He's the only one that's concerned about human life as things are going awry on his hunt. That human life matters more than what they're out there to do.
Right.
This is a dangerous place, and human life is what matters. And he pulls it off as an actor among the others who aren't that great in this movie.
I agree. And this is when he comes back and Lev is gone, that's where he tells everybody, don't tell the girl.
Exactly.
You know, he doesn't want to scare her anymore.
Which is done so well. So when they're walking around, so they're trekking through the jungle, and then they get interrupted by T-Rex, right?
Yeah.
So are they sleeping at this point? Is that what happens? They all take a break to sleep?
So what's happening now is they're sleeping. Yeah, they camp overnight, and the T-Rexes, like you said, they're protecting their area now. So
Yes.
the T-Rexes show up and attack them.
Yep. So they're in the tent, and the T-Rex peeks in like the big scary monster, right?
And that's where she hides all the food because the T-Rex can smell the food, but not her.
Yes.
And that was a really stupid fucking scene.
Yeah, but what's hanging in the tent? That's
Just
her
pants.
coat. Isn't it her coat?
Yeah.
It's her jacket covered with T-Rex blood.
Oh yeah.
Baby T-Rex blood. And it's another stupid moment where you're like, that is literally gallons of baby T-Rex blood hanging in your tent, and you
Gallons.
left it there. After early in the movie, when you said how good their sense of smell was.
Bathtub of baby T-Rex. You can bathe in the baby T-Rex blood. That
Frustrating
was in that
part of the
coat.
movie. You're just so dumb.
pour it out in a cup and drink it.
Yeah, why did something stupid, something she did that was stupid, lead to the disaster in the movie? Like, let it be something that happened, not a bad decision that she makes. And they do that.
Yeah, I
over
was
and over.
just looking at the Russian guy. His
Lev.
name is Peter Stormare.
That's what he is in this.
The character's
Actor
name is Dieter Stark.
Oh, oh, Dieter.
Oh, Dieter.
Dieter's gone, guys.
Dieter's dead.
Yeah.
dude.
So everybody's running from the T-Rexes. They're also like a hint that there's going to be some velociraptors around too.
Yeah, they talked about it a couple times, and now they're finally we're about to encounter them.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna mince words here because they don't make it. They make it pretty obvious.
Yeah, and it's not even like this scene was supposed to be really cool. It was stupid. I didn't like this scene.
It was cheesy. Anytime that people get picked off like that and they're
Grass.
quiet,
Yeah.
it's just lame because somebody fucking screaming.
In the shed.
The shed. I don't remember the
So
shed.
Vince
at this
Vaughn
point.
finds a CB radio that's working inexplicably in this place.
It's so moist, it's got moss growing out of it.
The electricity was geothermal, planned
okay, I
to
didn't catch
never
that.
be. Yeah, they talk about it a little earlier.
I was wondering about that. So he calls for help around this point. That's
Yeah.
important. He does it all by himself. This is really get to see the really cool mural. Get to hear a little Jurassic Park music.
Yep.
And he calls for help. Then the Raptors are getting him. I don't know who ends up where. I'll be honest. At this point, I'm like, great. The dinosaurs are chasing people again.
Right.
Like, it's happened. This movie keeps doing it. It's not like it wasn't really that interesting to me. There was a couple of the girls were in the scene, were in the shed, but there was a part where Kelly is with Jeff Goldblum, and she turns into a 24-year-old stunt woman.
Yes.
And does the parallel bars.
Yes, you talked about this earlier.
Yeah. So
It's really important that every time there's a gymnast in a movie, they do something gymnasty.
And
Yeah.
Ebert agreed with you, Greg, because he said, after the film observes the ancient principle that every gymnast in a movie sooner or later encounters a bar. It's
great.
just so ridiculous
says it
that they're
better.
in the shed and that bar is perfectly wide and it's the right shape and tension and all that. But
It's not as dilapidated as the rest of the building.
Right.
and-
right. But it blows me away that this, to me, this felt like a shorter version of the Shia LaBeouf swinging with the monkeys in the Crystal Skull, something else that Spielberg did. It just felt like, why is this in this movie? The tone is off. Everything is wrong about it.
and the
was
shot
like-
is horrible.
I want to put this. It
looks
was
like a man.
3% the level of absurdity as swinging through the jungles with the monkey.
It is, but it's the same tone.
And this is also where Roland tranquilizes a T-Rex because he was going to shoot it, but his gun didn't have any bullets, and silly Roland didn't come with any extras.
Why didn't it have any bullets?
Because we find out later Vince Vaughn took his bullets off his gun, stole them, but like he didn't bring extra bullets. He didn't have any, whatever.
Right? How do you
Fine.
not have more than 2 bullets?
He was like, I would get it if he didn't have to pull the trank gun off and load it with a much more cumbersome bullet. He took this bullet, he took the dart out of like this padded
Those
case.
ones weren't darts. Those were the straight up bullets for hunting the T-Rex. Those were the real life bullets.
When he had to switch to the trank gun afterwards, he opens this like soft case slowly, pulls out this giant dart, slowly. So you can't even argue that he could have. There was like a time constraint that he didn't have time to reload his gun.
But remember, they explained this gun early in the movie, so they had to make a big deal out of using it.
They killed Eddie, who had the gun originally. You could just let him use it. Maybe
And
they have to turn him into a snack.
This scene is another one that proves Vince Vaughn is the villain. He took these bullets out of the gun, thinking, because he's kind of like an animal activist terrorist, right? So he took the bullets out of the gun, or removed the gunpowder from the bullets, however you want. Pretty much an elephant gun, right? He disarms it, knowing that there's a very good chance that this could be a life-saving tool for this team and for this man. And it was a critical moment, and he wasn't able to save lives or act because Vince Vaughn. So again, Vince Vaughn is the villain of this movie.
Also, Sarah's a pack saver again because the raptor grabbed it.
Oh, yep.
And it breaks off. So once again, the lucky pack saves her life.
The lucky pack saved her.
Yeah.
So whatever, the helicopters show up, and everybody gets rescued. Gregory, everybody gets rescued.
Everybody but Dieter. And
Everybody Dieter and some of the Team Evil who didn't have names.
The nerd and all the people that were eaten in the weeds.
There was a lot of eating.
I mean, aside from all the dead people, everybody made it out alive.
All the people you cared about live.
And this is where the movie was supposed to end.
Oh, you don't say.
Yep.
You don't say.
What should have happened as this helicopter took off, it was pretty much written that a pterodactyl or pterodon type animal would attack the helicopter and cause some problems, and there'd be a little bit of battle there, and that's kind of how the movie would end. But instead, remember at the end of the first one, the T-Rex pans into the room that he can't fit into, somehow got into the door that he wouldn't be able to fit into, and saves the day with the raptor?
You mean Steven Spielberg can't end a fucking movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, remember in that movie, we talked about how he said during the production of the movie, hey, it'd be really cool if the T-Rex just did this and completely changed the end of Jurassic Park, making it a little ridiculous.
He had to make amends for that.
Well, he said, this is the second one, let's top that last minute idea. And instead, let's go ahead and change the end of this movie too, right? In the end of production. And I would love to see this T-Rex stomp through the city. So this whole ending of this movie was a last minute Spielberg change.
Yeah, Godzilla, right? We haven't seen Godzilla in a while.
You know what? It's not even the worst thing in the world that happened to this movie. The important thing is the boat smashed into the dock.
Yeah.
And Steven Spielberg showed us how the T-Rex got into the boat in the last scene, unlike the last scene in Jurassic Park with the T-Rex.
That's true.
So he had to make, like I said, he had to make amends for that.
He showed us
by showing us it comes in from the top.
Yes,
of the scene.
And it got lucky. It got lucky because somebody died on a button that opened up the thing. It's so silly.
Holding the button down with his dead hand.
But why did he die? Goofy T-Rex was in the thing. I was very confused.
Well, the same way that the guy that was holding the wheel had nothing but his hand there, because the T-Rex fit its mouth through the door magically, removed the rest of his body, and left his hand on the steering wheel of the boat.
Oh, good. So
magic.
The boat crashes. The T-Rex escapes, of course, tramples the city, drinks somebody's pool water, and kills a bunch of people. Kills this guy hilariously at this video store. There's a bunch of hilarious videos in there, like Tsunami Sundown.
Oh, yeah, they put a bunch of fake
Shakespeare
movies.
starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Tom Hanks' Tsunami Showdown.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just remember, they called the extinction of Blockbuster that was going to go the way of the dinosaurs in that scene.
Oh, and they had
Get out of here.
What was the Blockbuster?
They had Jack and the Beanstalk with
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. That was the most believable movie in there. I like
Right, it really is.
It was a cook, but Jack and the Beanstalk instead. Of course, Malcolm, Dr. Chaos, and Dr. Girlfriend used the baby T-Rex to draw this thing.
They lame bullshit their way to get the T-Rex back on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And
nephew ends up going
with a
down.
shiny red car that can crash through walls.
InGen boss gets his comeuppance.
Previous car.
Everybody's very satisfied.
It ends.
And the movie's finally over.
But you're going to skip my favorite part of the movie.
What's your favorite part of the movie? Where Mama T-Rex teaches baby T-Rex how to hunt by wounding a...
That is a neat scene. And you said that this whole entire scene or series of scenes in the movie didn't really do it wrong because the movie wasn't the greatest to begin with.
Right.
And I agree with that. It's neat to see the T-Rex in the suburbs and to see it wake up the kid and the parents to believe it. It's neat to see him knock over the 76 sign. It's neat to see all these things happen. Right. But my favorite thing is the way it ends. When the garage door, for lack of a better term, in the boat is closing on the T-Rex's head, and they go to shoot at the T-Rex.
Oh, yeah.
And then he looks, and his yellow eyes meet direct eye contact with the camera, which is intended to go right at whoever was shooting, the woman, right?
Yeah.
And he makes that eye contact with the yellow eyes. I rewind it like 12 times because he looks so pissed. He is so angry and so mad looking. It's just very well done. And that it's kind of the cherry on top of the Spielberg, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we just put this in here and we just like plussed our own movie? And that was a little bit of payoff for me.
Dr. Sarah saves the T-Rex life, though. By tranquilizing it, she can close the door before the helicopter with the machine gun can cut it down.
And he was so mad.
So,
mad.
I like, and in the end, Dr. Hammond, or Richard Hammond, he's not a doctor, says he's on TV. Like a lot of these movies end with like Greg. A lot of these movies end with like the TV, the news.
Yeah,
like
a news report.
Yeah, the news report
explaining what happened.
Yeah, that's
cut
fine.
To credit.
That's fine. But he's just like Richard Hammond's like, we have dinosaurs. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to break.
We'll be back.
Whoa!
You don't leave.
Oh, are you
don't
telling
leave.
me?
No, I don't want anybody to leave.
Oh, okay.
Don't leave.
Listeners, don't leave.
Don't leave.
We'll be back.
I know we rushed through some of that movie,
but take a quick breather.
Yeah. We need to get through it.
And then we're going to come back with our final thoughts on Lost World Jurassic Park. And we'll say goodbye.
Second Jurassic Park movie, someone call it.
But that's not goodbye yet. Right now, it's see you later.
No, it would not be goodbye yet.
Yeah.
It's see you later. But we're only going to be back for a short period of time.
God, shut up.
See you real soon.
Down.
Something big.
We're not alone on this island.
What is it?
Go as fast as you can.
Director Steven Spielberg takes you beyond Jurassic Park.
It's coming back!
And into the Lost World.
Now showing at cinemas everywhere. Check newspapers for details.
And we are back with our final thoughts on Lost World Jurassic Park.
Life. My final thoughts on life.
We're going to start with Richard.
The Richter scale. Yeah, this movie's, I would say it's about a 5.6 on the Richter scale. It was an overall pretty boring movie, but it wasn't terrible. There was some enjoyment. It could have been 30 minutes shorter. If it was 30 minutes shorter, I probably would have liked it more. Probably give an extra point. It was just like the first movie, but way more glaring in this one. They just telegraphed every plot point, telegraphed every change. You knew exactly what was going to happen. No surprises.
Right.
I even knew that Eddie was going to die because he was the ugly one. It just was, it was very predictable. But I mean, I've seen worse.
Which 30 minutes would you remove?
The last 30 minutes. We don't need to see the T-Rex.
It doesn't have to be all at once. There are a lot of chunks here and there that could go.
That too. Like
movie
you could
did
have
not
the
need to be
T-Rex
2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah, you could have the T-Rex running around running around New York, but it made the rescue seem so like anticlimactic. They have a whole other half hour. Like, oh, we finally get off this island, thankfully. And then we have a whole another half hour of like hanging out. It was a bit much. What about you, Liz? What do you think of this movie?
The Lister?
It wasn't offensive. It was fine. I just felt like I spent such a long time watching it. I guess I give it like a 4 out of 10.
Belt Sanders?
That's rough.
Or oscillating
4
spindles?
oscillating spindle Sanders out of 10 oscillating
That's not the
spindle
Lister
Sanders.
scale.
Being the not like the movie set Nazi, right?
I don't like that.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, wow, Liz, that's an extreme. You have an extreme approach to movie sets.
Hang on. Didn't Hugo Boss
Fastidious.
design a bunch of stuff for the Nazis?
Well, there we go.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
and it all ties back to you, Liz.
Or maybe you help Spielberg with one of his movies.
In every podcast, you have
Ouch.
something to say about the sets. So, how do you feel about the set pieces in this movie?
Science Bus was rad.
Okay,
That
all
was
right.
the best part.
I
Science
like
Bus.
the CRTs that were clearly not actually mounted to anything.
Yeah, they were fine. they were working. They were working.
They
And it's
did
not
their
like they plan on
jobs.
using the Science Bus in rough terrain.
No, it's fine. They
The
just bounce
Science
around.
Bus was a perfect science husk to fall away right over the characters as they dangled desperately.
Yeah.
What do you think of this movie, Greg? Oh wait, let's get Brian. Let's get Greg last. Greg, you go last. You're last.
Okay.
You're the cherry on the top of whatever this fucking garbage sundae is.
Okay.
You know,
What do you got?
Walking into this movie on the Breinster scale, I thought off of my memory it was going to get like a 4 out of 10 because I was going off of my original viewing and expectation comparing it to the original one. Thinking I was going to get Gushers but ending up with Mott's was extremely disappointing back then. We talked about earlier, I feel like this movie did age a lot better than what it was originally, which is very odd for a movie. I feel like it's better over time because it's separated from that original disappointment, and there's other sequels that can disappoint just as much or more, so it changes your viewpoint. The things I loved about this movie, the T-Rex looking at me at the end, some of the fun quips, but not enough of them, some of the ridiculous things and callbacks, the things that really annoyed me about this movie, every dumb decision the female lead made drove me absolutely crazy. The fact that Jeff Goldblum was the wrong character. He played somebody other than Ian, and there was no chaos-tician or no little quippy "I told you so" type remarks. He was surprised by things that would happen or things that people would do instead of expecting the unexpected like he did in the first one. It's just odd to me the way he reacted to things.
Yeah.
But he still peppered in the which is all we really need out of Jeff Goldblum in a role.
Yeah, exactly. He did. He did. Yeah, I still like him. I mean, like he's still a charming character and all that. But
should have stayed in the car.
Yeah, I would up it because it matured a little bit better with time. It was better than what I thought it was going to be. I'd give it a solid 6.5 on the
wow,
Breinster
you really
scale.
upped it. It grew. It really. It passed. It passed.
Yeah, and that's probably still not the greatest, but I don't know. There was parts of it that I just was surprised I liked as much.
All right.
Now we've all been waiting with bated breath.
So we've said it a couple times where this feels kind of like just a watered down Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And in sticking with that theme, Ian Malcolm was, if you took a glass of Ian Malcolm, dumped half of it out, and then topped it back off with Alan Grant, that's kind of what his character was in this. He was a watered down Ian Malcolm.
Yeah.
Or an Alan Granted down Ian Malcolm. It was just not, I mean, he wasn't the same character as he was, and he did not give a shit about his performance, and it showed.
Right.
He was not into this movie. I didn't like how many tight face shots there were on people in this one. There were some questionable direction decisions. I was surprised to see that it was both directed by Steven Spielberg and scored by John Williams, because the music was even underwhelming. The soundtrack in this was even underwhelming. The acting was not great for the most part. There were moments where it was fine. I'm with Brian in that I was really expecting to hate it.
Right.
Like hate it.
I remember hating it.
And when I watched it this time around, I was like, this is not nearly as bad. It's passable. It's better than It's better than Jurassic World.
Yep. And Evil Safari Man saved the movie. I forgot to add that. For me,
Evil Safari Man definitely saved the movie.
Being the hero of the movie, like, he saved it for me, and his character change at the end, and he was just like such a sweet, good guy, even though he's a murderous type.
He's not murderous. Guy. He's a hunter.
Person.
He's not a murderer unless your perspective on going hunting is that they are murdering animals.
What do you score it
I'm
at?
with Brian. It's getting a 6.5. 6.5 on the Gregter scale.
6.5 on the Gregter scale.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
That's up there for this movie.
All right. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to
I'm good.
throw into the mix here? No?
Just the word Velocicopter.
Velocicopter.
Yeah,
Velocicopter.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of What a Disaster. We appreciate you made it through. So thanks.
Yeah, we did too. Yeah.
We'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week.
In the meantime, you can reach out to us. We got show notes on our website and in various places. I reckon.
I just paste them
just
everywhere. Sometimes culinary websites. Sometimes I just
there's a recipe for grandma's chicken and dumplings on allrecipes.com. That's actually our show notes for today's episode. Facebook. You can find us, What a Disaster, on the Facebook.
Yep.
We are PodWad on Twitter.
We sure are.
And we are Wad Podcast on Instagram.
That too, yeah.
And guess what? You can email us at wadpodcast@gmail.com.
What do we love more to email, though, Greg?
Phone calls,
we
text
love
messages.
phone calls more to email.
So far, all of our text messages have come from Brian.
Yeah, so far all text messages.
Phone number 209-781-9113.
I think my text message was just a compliment saying how much I love myself as a guest, wasn't it?
I think it was.
You were like that. Brian
yeah.
guy was excellent. Not only is he handsome and witty, but his voice just soothes me.
Smooth as silk.
That's a good
Smoother than
That's
silk,
good
actually.
feedback.
Silky butter.
Silk is rough. Silk feels like a file, a nail file, compared to Brian's voice.
Do I have to go back in the hole now?
Got like 10 minutes.
You get tomorrow whole free tomorrow.
Yay! Whole free.
You're getting a whole day.
Patrick could be so lonely.
I think the best thing I could do is watch Jurassic Park 3. That's going to be really productive for me.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to have
Before we
you
leave, are we doing Sharknado next week? Is that the thing?
Do I have to do the music again? That's how the song goes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got these two things I said, so.
Okay.
One.
Liz, you do you.
Greg.
You want the football Liz to come back out?
Here she is.
She's back.
Kinda. We got Pastor Brian and Football Liz.
Here she is. Liz 3-3, ladies and gentlemen. It says. Anyways.
Be good to your football man.
Amen. Be good.
Did I get an amen?
Amen. Mm-hmm.
When did football Liz take a religious turn?
In all of eternity, there's one thing that matters, and that is football Liz. There's one animal that is a fear-inducing mouth monster with legs. Try not to take its baby.
See?
Velocicopter.
Velocicopter. Watch out, there's a T-Rex. Oh!